Imagine this. You open your eyes in the morning and something does not feel right. Outside the window, the street is silent, but strangely empty. The trees are gone. They've left their places in the night, leaving small holes in the soil like footprints of giants. And then you see it. At the very end of the road, a whole forest is slowly marching away in a long green wave, bending its branches like arms and shaking loose leaves with every step. Stay with this picture, because by the end of the story, you may discover that real trees are already much more mobile than you think, and that humans might be the least stable creatures in this whole situation. Now imagine a world where trees can decide, very calmly and very politely, to change their address. Your backyard oak looks around and thinks, "This neighborhood is getting noisy. I am going to the lake." At sunset, it slowly pulls its roots from the ground like a gigantic many-legged spider, shakes off a few shocked squirrels, and begins a slow, creaking walk toward better real estate. You rush outside in your slippers, shouting, asking it to stay, but the oak simply turns its crown away like a drama queen and continues toward the horizon. Let us now invite some science into this ridiculous parade. In the real world, trees do not walk like that, although somewhere in tropical forests there are what scientists call walking palms, and they cheat a little. They grow new roots in the direction of better light and water and slowly let the old roots die. Step by step, or rather root by root, the trunk can move over time. It is not exactly a heroic march across the continent. It is more like a shy shuffle at the speed of a bored snail. But it shows a very important idea. Trees are not statues. They are living, dynamic systems that respond to sunlight, wind, neighbors, and climate. The only difference is that their movements are stretched across years instead of seconds. So, let us return to our walking world and watch what happens next. At first, it seems fun. Bored pine trees leave the highway where they breathe exhaust fumes all day and stroll into cleaner valleys. City parks rearrange themselves during the night. One day you fall asleep next to a birch, and by the morning a maple has wandered into the same place from the next district. People begin to check property prices depending on how loyal the local trees are. Nobody wants a house whose entire shade pack can disappear during a heat wave. The climate becomes surreal. Forests do a huge part of the work of cooling the planet and moving water around through evaporation. In our walking scenario, forests might migrate in giant green waves toward places with more rainfall. They leave behind dry, confused towns where nobody understands why the weather suddenly feels like a hairdryer. Mountain slopes wake up bald because all the trees have gone down to the river festival. Floods become normal where the walking forests decide that holding soil is no longer their responsibility. Animals would have mixed feelings. Some birds would love the idea of a home that constantly travels to new food sources. A nest in a walking tree is an all-inclusive cruise. However, slow animals like hedgehogs would spend their lives trying to catch up with last season's favorite bush. You could sit on a bench and watch a dramatic scene in which a small rabbit begs a departing tree to stay, because that tree is the only place where the rabbit can hide from a fox that also looks slightly confused by the moving background. Humans, of course, would try to negotiate. Scientists would develop what they call root diplomacy, politely asking trees to stay near rivers, to remain on slopes, to not abandon cities during heat waves. People would invent tree parking zones with soft soil and free compost, anything to convince the wandering giants to put down temporary roots. Someone would definitely start a reality show titled "So You Think You Can Grow," where different species compete for the title of Most Helpful Stationary Tree, and the prize is a lifetime supply of clean groundwater. And now comes the twist. The more you think about this walking forest world, the more you realize that maybe nature already chose the wiser option. Real trees are stuck in one place, and exactly this makes them build deep and powerful relationships with their surroundings. They hold soil, filter water, cool air, and create entire neighborhoods of other life that depend on them. They move, but in a different way. Seeds travel with wind, with birds, with people's shoes, and forests slowly shift over generations. Meanwhile, every single tree keeps a quiet promise to its small piece of earth. Meanwhile, you, the free human, change cities, jobs, phones, and passwords at ridiculous speed and still feel lost. Perhaps the real joke of this story is that trees don't need to walk in order to shape the world. They shape it by staying. And maybe next time you rush past a motionless tree, you will feel that it is not the tree that is stuck. It is you who have not yet learned how to stand in one place and still change everything around you.